What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Talking Watches with the Cardinal. Today, I'm joined by a very special guest, somebody who's been watching and following my channel for quite a while, so thank you so much. And somebody who I've been following for quite a while myself, and it's the TheDubaiExpat. Thank you so much for joining me, man.
Thank you, Marco, for having me here in your stream.
Sure. I guess before we begin, maybe we should begin with a quick wristwatch check. What are we wearing today?
I have to give me a second. Pepsi, of course.
Nice.
Yeah.
There you go, guys. The best watch Rolex makes, the GMT Master. Now, Nico, before we get into any question, I just want to say you totally broke my heart. You know that? Because on your State of the Collection video, I heard you call it the Batgirl, right? I know that you watch me. I call it the Bruce Wayne. And you said it looks more feminine than the Pepsi. I was like, what? No, you can't say that.
No, of course. I mean, yeah, as they slimmed the Lux down, I think. Yeah, and the Jubilee bracelet is, of course, a lot more feminine than the Oyster. And I think, I mean, Batgirl was the initial name or how people start to call it. So I would keep sticking to that.
Listen, I'm still on the Bruce Wayne bandwagon. I want to get it called the Bruce Wayne. But I guess let's get into kind of the questions for today. I'm sure others will have questions in the chat also. My first question is sort of how did you get into watches in the first place to begin with?
Yeah, I mean, actually, let's start all the way from the beginning. So my grandpa, he was always into watches, yeah, and especially also wall clocks and all this kind of stuff. Then my dad as well, he bought a Breitling quite early. Then he also got the Datejust or so. And those two, they always tried to convince me to start also getting into watches, but it never worked. Then I bought my first watch when I graduated from university. And yeah, a bit like as a milestone piece and to have a reminder for that moment and so on. And then there was a very long break, and yeah, that watch at the time, you maybe saw it in the watch collection update, the Zeppelin, like a 200 euro watch, nothing special, but I still love it. Yeah, then there was a long break, and then actually I started again with an Apple Watch. Many will probably hate this device, but I mean, it's still, for me, it's a watch at least, yeah, and it started to make me aware again that you can wear something nice on your wrist. And then I moved from Germany to Dubai around a bit more than 2 years ago. And yeah, I had to sell all my stuff in Germany, and yeah, it was quite a lot of stress, yeah, and also a big challenge. I mean, I wasn't sure how the Arabic culture will be, how I will be get used to the super hot weather over here. You know, I mean, Germany, the temperatures are also changing, but still in winter, it's often -10, -15 degrees there. And Dubai all the year, like above 20. And in the summer, it's like 45. So I thought, okay, for such a big move, you must buy a very nice watch. And then I was thinking which one to go for. I checked out a lot of Breitlings and so on. But yeah, in the end, I ended up buying the Rolex Explorer. And yeah, so again, it was kind of a milestone piece because I thought you need to buy something that you can keep for the rest of your life. And yeah, besides maybe a pocket knife, maybe a nice suitcase, there are not so many things you can actually buy that you keep for your whole life. Yeah?
Right.
So I ended up with the watch. And yeah, then I mean, if you own such a nice watch, and I was always interested in YouTube before already, I started with this watch stuff. Yeah, I watched a lot of YouTube channels and loved all the kind of content all these channels are producing, and got more and more pulled into it, and really enjoyed the community. And yeah, then it pushes you. Yeah, so if I do something like either it's mountain biking or if it's collecting watches, yeah, then I want to push it hard, and that's why I bought more pieces. And yeah, now I really enjoy it. So that's in a nutshell how I got into watches.
We got an awesome 20 sec super chat from Lysenko. Thank you so much, saying cheers for having the TheDubaiExpat on. Yeah, of course. Thank you so much for joining more than anything. I just want to go around the chat, say hello to the guys who are joining us today. We got Nefarian. Thank you so much for joining. Renee De Palms, a lot of the usual suspects. We got Tim Wright, Chan Wang joining us. He said part of the community. So we call all of our viewers the community. It's just a funny thing we have going. And we got Quicker Than Drawing, who actually watched your video this morning, as did I. And he said, awesome. The Dubai Expat's newest vid has the 124270 shrinking. It's 35.3 millimeters. Yeah, we were talking about this with Tim, right? He has the 36 mil Explorer, and we kind of tease him, that he has a girl's watch, but it's just all in good fun. It's all in good fun. We have Eddie Fu joining us. Thank you so much. And are joining us, who joined us last night with that beautiful vintage 1675 that we're going to get into the vintage discussion as well. So thank you all for joining me. We also have friend of the show, MS Fan. Thank you so much. No Endless Time, I believe, fellow German. So welcome. Thank you so much for being here. And I guess let's jump into the next question I have for you, right? Because you did say now you're mostly into Rolex specifically, right? But you do appreciate your other brands. But what drew you, I guess, to Rolex specifically?
Yeah, I mean, in the beginning, before I started watching all this YouTube content and so on, which definitely had a big influence, of course, on then sticking to Rolex. But before that, I mean, the Explorer, I just loved the watch, the history of it, and myself, I love hiking, I love climbing, I love mountain biking. So everything that has any kind of connection to mountains, I'm completely addicted to it. And then when I did some research about the Explorer, I knew, okay, this is the Rolex I want. And then I compared it at the time there. I think I made a video with the models I checked out at the time. And there was a Breitling Premier or so, a Hublot, and a lot of like shitty watches in the range.
Right.
And I went to all the stores to try them. And I was pretty shocked, really shocked, like how some of them feel from the perceived quality compared to the Explorer. And then besides that, I mean, everyone knows like Rolex with the crown, it's a symbol. I know it since my childhood. So those were basically the factors. Besides that, the brand was super attractive, and it's some kind of really nice status symbol also, that you achieved something, you buy your first crown and you're super proud of it. It just also felt a lot better than the Breitling Premier, for example, in comparison. And I felt I get the right watch for the money I pay. And actually at the time, the Explorer was trading below retail, and the store offered me, I think, 10 or 12% discount on it. So it was definitely at that time not like some
not like it is today,
monetized motivation or so to buy it.
Right. And it definitely isn't like it is today, because discount on an Explorer, get out of here, they're laughing at it.
That would be amazing, of course.
Right. I mean, I just don't see it ever happening. We got Tim Wright joining, said, oh my God, you're into hiking as well. Yes, Tim is a big hiking fan. And we got Danger joining us saying like and subscribe, or the ADs will never call you. Yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you so much. But yeah, I think you bring up a good point in that Rolex, the price for money ratio, right? So the price for value ratio to me is the best, right? When you talk about the way their watches are designed, pretty much all of their watches, at least at this point in the modern range, to me are timeless designs. I mean, you look at an Explorer 2, you look at a Submariner, a Daytona, a GMT, they haven't really changed. Even a Milgauss, they haven't really changed in appearance, right? There's subtle changes that make it a bit different, that make it, a little bit more intriguing, or that make it more modern. But they're really the same. They share the same design language, and all you see is just a small evolution over time. You can say the same thing also about Patek Philippe, and that's when you know a brand has really nailed their designs, and they're really just making those incremental improvements with time, right? So the bracelets, the materials that they use, so the brushed steel, 904L steel. Obviously the bezels now mostly are ceramic. So it's just those incremental adjustments. As you said, the price with respect to the value or the overall package that you're getting, to me from Rolex is seamless. It's really the best in the industry.
Yeah, 100%. They just feel like amazing quality when you hold them in your hands. And I'm a big fan of bracelet watches also. And I just noticed it's not that easy actually to find other brands who have a nice range of amazing bracelet watches. And what I often miss is this famous easy extension. Like here in Dubai, for me personally, where my wrist expands a lot, it's like nearly impossible to wear a watch without easy extension. When you're inside now in my flat, it's, I don't know, 24 degrees. But if I would go outside now, it would be 44 degrees and very humid. So immediately, you need to adjust the bracelet then.
Right. And you live in a climate that makes it kind of prohibitive to wear rubber or leather, right? It's just uncomfortable. It's always so hot and humid. And
Yeah.
that's why Rolex kind of stands out, right?
Yes, yes, 100%.
I just want to get this from NR. He says NR1416 saying Rolex is the most underrated watch and the most overrated watch on the market, if that makes sense. So we'll get into that in a second. But we do have an extremely kind super chat, $20 from Michael Sugar saying, you give so much to us, showing the love back. I really appreciate that, Michael. Next time, please give me a question that we can answer together. So this way we can actually give you a bit of value for money, if that makes sense. But thank you a lot, Michael. But yeah, I want to get back to that question. I think that's a really good point. It's the most overrated and underrated brand at the same time, and that, a lot of people will make. I bought, for example, my Submariner on the gray market, right? I know you don't like paying, or you don't believe paying in that gray premium, right? But
Yeah.
to me, the point is Rolex is still relatively undervalued for things that you just mentioned now. I mean, you look for a watch on a bracelet that has a timeless design. That won't, because let's be honest, I mean, at the end of the day, if we're going to spend a significant amount of money, we don't want to see ourselves lose 40% overnight, right? So something that will also hold its value. There's not really much else other than Rolex that we can look to as kind of watch enthusiasts or watch guys, right? So that's what really makes Rolex, in my opinion, the most underrated brand. But it also makes it the most overrated because people get into it for the wrong reasons, really.
Yeah, so I wouldn't agree. I think there are still some other nice brands out there. Like the new Omega Speedmaster is absolutely fantastic. I think it's the one of the best watches and definitely the best easy to buy watch right now on the market. Let's say like that. The new Sapphire Sandwich. Oh my God, I love it so much. The new bracelet feels amazing. Finally, they nailed it with the design. Okay, you still don't have the easy extension, but at least you have the micro adjustment, which you can adjust like with a toothpick or so quite quickly. It's even possible on the go to do that. And yeah, the movement looks fantastic. The watch has an amazing history. The build quality is great of the watch. So yeah, everyone who would ask me, hey, I can't get a Rolex, which watch should I buy now? I would 100% immediately say buy the new Sapphire Sandwich Speedy. Then, I like Zenith. They have some really fantastic watches, even though they are also getting a bit more expensive and cutting away the discounts and so on they were giving before. But still, absolutely fantastic watches. The new Chronomaster Sport is really, really nice. Then the DeFi that I own personally, I love it. Besides, yeah, that this watch comes without the easy extension, no micro adjustment. That is a bit of a pain point for me, but I mean, if I would use it in Germany, I don't think it would be that big of an issue there. Yeah, then the Reverso, for example, is an amazing piece. I think the Cartier is growing on me. So there's still a lot of stuff outside, yeah, if you go and search for it, besides Rolex, I would say.
We got the watch aficionado joining us saying, I'm in Doha, Qatar. The Rolex market is here. It's crazy too. Yeah, I mean, listen, it's pretty much crazy around the world. And we have I would consider a pretty cool collection because I remember seeing one of your videos and I was kind of shocked. I said, Marco, ask him about the security in Dubai wearing watches. Well, I mean, I saw you purchasing a watch, right? And you had I think it was like $10,000 in your hand. Yeah. No worries at all. I was like, what the hell? But do you want to speak to maybe Dubai a little bit and how how it is over there?
Yeah, so I mean, when I arrived to Dubai, I was also shocked. Yeah, coming from Germany, which I think is pretty similar to UK, London or so. Yeah, and I live there also in one of the major cities where the crime rate is probably higher than somewhere, yeah, outside the major cities. And yeah, so I had to get used to it. And yeah, my friends told me basically, yeah, you can leave your mobile on the table at the food court. You come back in an hour and it's still there. And yeah, I had several situations like that when my friends parked their electric scooters outside the restaurants, or we parked cars outside the restaurants with the key inside and so on. And you are unbelievable safe over here. I mean, there's everywhere cameras, everywhere security, but also the people that live over here, they really appreciate, I would say, what the country is giving back to them. So they are really strict and really stick to the rules, I would say, due to that. So no, I could walk around with my complete watch collection, I think, and show it in the mall, nothing would happen. yeah, but of course, still there's a bit of German inside, so I would say I'm also a
Very
bit
good.
more skeptical maybe than the Arabs over here. And yeah, of course, take a few safety measures still. But like walking around with the Petsy or so is no problem at all. No problem at all.
Right. We got Watches and Giggles stopping by in the chat. Thank you so much for stopping by. He said, just stopping by quickly to say hi. I'm at work, but thank you for bringing the community together. My pleasure. Thank you for joining me again, Expat. He said, I picked up my Tudor Black Bay 58 Blue today. Man, enjoy. Congratulations on the new purchase and wear it in good health. We got Mehdi said also joining us saying, way up, Marco, the Dubai expat is a classy dude. No doubt about it. Now, I want to get into the next question, but I guess we kind of answered it, which is what makes Rolex stand out from other brands, right? And I think it's kind of what we've touched upon, right? It's not just, and I think one thing that's lost is the movement also, right? The movement of Rolex is really bulletproof. I mean, you compare it to a lot of the other brands, the regulation is the best in the industry. It's right up there with the very best. In my opinion, it's the best. The only other one that's comparable is Patek, which has very tight tolerances, but they're a bit more delicate, right? So it's out of the factory, the tolerances are very tight, and then after it's, you got to be careful.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a watchmaker and so on, and I think the movement in the new Speedy, I measured it a bit over time, how it's keeping the time. It's also like running at, I think, 1.5 seconds a day in average, so super, super precise. But yeah, the Rolex movement, I mean, I feel like they're super robust. Yeah, you can wear them basically forever without ever having to worry about the service or that you'll maybe damage something if you use it as often as I do. Then besides the movement, I mean, I'm not such a sucker for movements. For me, it's really about the bracelets on the Rolex. They just fit unbelievable, comfortable on my wrist. I absolutely love that. Then the clasp feel amazing, and that's often one of the downsides of other watches where I'm always disappointed how the clasp feels and works and operates and so on. Then they have, of course, these iconic designs. I mean, if I look at the Pepsi, it's just unbelievable, beautiful.
Right.
I'm anyway more drawn into sports watches, and I mean, even a Datejust is a bit sporty for me. So basically, nearly the full range. Yeah, let's keep the Cellini aside. Of Rolex is very pretty much sports oriented watches. So that's amazing that they made those watches often to specific events in history or for companies that needed those pieces at work instruments like the GMT. So yeah, that's just fantastic. Yeah, like where you have the Speedy for the moon landing and so on. Nearly every Rolex tells a story behind it with a fantastic event that happened and which they appreciated and to that created a watch. So yeah, there's not much I would know about these Rolex watches to improve actually. Yeah.
Right. And that's one thing that I will say, that I'm kind of a geek when it comes to the movement, or that's at least what I like to look into, right? And even in the movement, it's similar to the design, right? The 3200, right, the new kind of 70-hour power reserve movements are not that different from the 3100 calibers. All they really did was space out the movement better so it could fit a bigger barrel. And also they have the chrono energy escapement, if I'm not, or the pallet fork is different. Which is really the only kind of differences, and it's all just to make the movement more efficient and require longer service intervals. So essentially, they're just bringing customers a much better product. But I do want to get to a couple of the questions in the chat. We got Andres Bergetti in the chat saying, good morning, good to see the collaboration. Thank you so much for joining. Andres is one of the kind contributors. I'm going to Expat. I'm going to the London Watch Show in September. Yeah. And it's thanks to the viewers. The viewers are sponsoring the trip. So it's extremely kind for them to do that. We got Claude C in the chat. Claude, thank you so much for sewing. He said the Dubai expat with the face reel. And he brings up a good point. He says, yeah, exactly. That's the first time I ever seen
on your channel, Marco.
I know. It's an honor. Thank you so much for doing that. And Claude mentioning the Air King. Now, I'd love to get your take on this because I met a viewer a couple days ago now at this point who had the Rolex Air King. And, man, I have to tell you, I was shocked by it. I really thought it was like, it's just another Rolex. Like, I wouldn't like it that much. But, man, my opinion completely flipped. Again, it's the bracelet. I think the dial is also really underappreciated. It's something you have to really see in person, but it just pops. And man, it's really unbelievable. But we got a troll donation. Thank you so much to the gentleman say, want my first Rolex. What model do you recommend? But he's got an amazing collection himself. He's got the Paul Newman Daytona on Oyster Flex. He's got the Bruce Wayne, as I do, the Cermet. He's got a bunch of the Day-Date in yellow gold with a silver dial. But I guess it's a great question. What would you recommend as your first Rolex? For somebody looking to get their first Rolex?
So maybe just very quickly. So for me, I mean, I appreciate the Air King, but I'm not such a big fan of it. I think the case is outdated. Yeah, I think it still has the magnetic shield inside, similar to the Milgauss.
Yeah.
It makes the watch very thick, and it looks a bit chunky, I would say, on the bracelet. Then they did some shortcuts on the clasp compared to the Explorer, so you don't have the safety folding mechanism.
Yes.
And I'm not sure about the crown, if it's applied or if it's stamped, like on the.
Yeah, so the crown is, I believe it's applied, right? If I'm not mistaken, it's a triangle marker at 12. Here, I can bring it up.
I'm not 100% sure. So yeah, and then I'm actually also not such a big fan of the 214270 before the facelift, because I love the lume-filled numerals.
Right.
And yeah, the Air King still has the old style numerals on it. Yeah. So yeah, it's still of course a nice watch, and I assume if anyone wants to buy a piece that could go up in value very quickly, it would be the Air King. Would make sense for me if they discontinue it to get rid of all the old movements. So yeah, but as I'm not buying them for these kind of reasons, I have no Air King for now in my collection. Then for the first Rolex, I mean, yeah, we all know the situation is so tough to get anything from Rolex. So I would not recommend maybe to start right away trying to get a Pepsi or Submariner or something like that. Could be too difficult. So I would probably recommend to buy a nice Datejust, like the 36 blue dial Jubilee fluted bezel that I have. I think it's an amazing combination. It's a classic, timeless piece. It does all the things right. You have the new movement, you have power reserve, you have the amazing bracelet. And I think it's even also trading over retail, so you get really good value for money. And as I said, it's not like, yeah, you're putting the pistol on the 80 right away. I want the GMT now. So maybe I would recommend get one of the nicer Datejust first. Yeah. So yeah.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think the Air King is a good watch. The Datejust is a good watch. I think also the Milgauss is a great first ask, like a black dial. If you can get a Z Blue, but that will probably be a bit harder. Listen, at the end of the day, it's all about patience working with an AD, right? And we're going to get to it because you did crack the Rolex AD code. So I want to know what went into it. But we do have to catch up on a couple of super chats. We got SB with the $1. Thank you so much. He said, my moonshine arrived today, sending $1 for good luck. Can I email you a picture? Yes, of course. I did put it. Yes, please email it to watchcardinal99@gmail.com. I'll be happy to pull it up for you. We got Alex with the €10 saying, watching you in a break from the hospital. Nice show, Marco. Alex, I appreciate that, man. Alex is an amazing collection, real watch enthusiast. He actually has, he was here on my first live stream when I unboxed the Submariner. So my Note 8 Sub was my first Rolex, and I did a live stream, kind of giving my initial thoughts. And Alex joined me and was wearing a 5711 blue dial that he actually got at retail, which is pretty incredible. And the story behind it is amazing. So guys, be sure to check out that live stream. It really is worth it. And we got Ali Reza with the $5.11. Thank you so much for the super chat. I can't stay, but want to show my support for Caliber 1999 and the DubaiExpat as a guest. Thank you so much. I appreciate that, Ali Reza. Very kind contributor to the channel. Let me just pull up this image right here. Oh, that is a stunner. Just very cool. I just want to say thank you again to obviously Michael Sugar, who donated $20 earlier. Gentlemen's Hangout with a great question as to what should be our first Rolex, as well as Alex and Ali Reza. Thank you so much again. And this is SB's new purchase, the Apollo 11 50th anniversary in full moonshine gold. What do you think about this one?
Very nice piece.
Right. This is incredible. And this does have the new kind of 3861 bracelet, the 3861 movement, and they decorated the movement really nicely. They plated it in gold. And this gold is really has a nice luster, like a very luxurious like gold to it, you know? And again, the markers are onyx markers. That red bezel just pops. I mean, it's a tribute to a vintage model, but I just think this is so well done by Omega. Really, really good stuff.
Yeah, you know the rose gold version of this one, I think, the
Yes,
new
there
one.
is a rose
I
gold.
think that looks pretty dope.
Yeah,
Oh my
we
God.
could pull it up
With
here.
the complete black dial to the full rose gold case and bracelet, amazing.
Yeah, I tend to agree. We got NI Addicted guy with the 3 pounds saying picked up a Hydro Conquest ceramic thin stunner. Let's pull it up. Hydro Conquest ceramic. There we go. And listen, I made no mistake about it. I'm not the biggest fan, and I guess we could talk about this also of kind of alternative materials, right? Your ceramics and those kind of materials. I prefer kind of my steel watches. Maybe I'll dive into titanium in the future, but I'm mostly a traditionalist, right? I like my steel, my yellow gold, white gold, rose gold, and also, just my regular kind of platinum watches, which I'll never be able to afford, right? Which I'll never afford. But I think this is very, very interesting in that ceramic watches are kind of the new kind of, I guess, trend. And ultimately, I think Longines is one of the very best brands you can get, especially starting out as a watch collector. Their heritage line is absolutely amazing, really good. I don't know if you follow Longines at all,
No,
Expat?
not really, not
Not really.
really. I
I
saw
understand.
these vintage collection they recently made with the chronograph and the easy freehands watch.
Okay.
With the tuxedo dial, I think you maybe remember them.
Right. Yes.
And I
Dichromacy.
wanted to check them out, so I went to the Longines store in Dubai Mall, and they were like, it's very high in demand piece, blah blah blah. And yeah, then I lost complete interest in the brand immediately and never came back to the boutique. Yeah, sometimes I just hate it when they try to play this game and make everything
Right.
high in
Everything is hard
demand,
to get,
and
and
you have
blah
to
blah blah.
beg for it and so on and buy something else
Right.
first. And yeah, so my first touch point with Longines wasn't that good.
Well, I just want to say, NI Addictive Guy with the 3 pounds. Thank you so much for the super chat, and of course, do enjoy that watch. I think it is a great watch. I mean, Tudor just released that full ceramic Black Bay. I think overall, this is probably much better value for money play, and I think it's a great looking watch, very distinct. Not trying to copy anybody else, so please do enjoy. I think that's a great watch, and congratulations on the purchase. And we have SB with the $10 super chat. We just pulled up his rose gold, or sorry, yeah, yellow gold rather, the 50th anniversary Omega Speedmaster. Thank you so much for the $10 super chat. He says thanks to the community, the community. Thank you so much, my man. I appreciate that. But I guess what we should talk about is the Rolex ADs, right? We just touched on it. Everything is now exclusive, and you can't get your hands on anything. And so, for somebody who's starting out, or someone like myself, I'm on a wait list for a Submariner at an AD, but there's no realistic shot I'm going to get it. Probably. Let's be honest with one another, right? So, I guess my question is, how would you approach a conversation with an AD nowadays that everything is so hot, everything is hard to get? How do you go about it?
I mean, it's tough one. I tried so many different things, I mean, as I said, the first Rolex watches that I bought, the Explorer, then the Datejust, followed by that, they were both not that hot and not hard to get, I would say, at the time. And I mean, I even bought two Explorers, yeah, which I also offered then to one group member of, I think, Bark and Jack's Facebook group, and that video became quite popular then. So yeah, the first three, four Rolex watches that I bought, they were not really hot at the time. Yeah, so when I started getting in touch with ADs, it was as if you would buy today yeah, diamonds that they just. So it wasn't like I knocked at the door and said, hey, I want the Panda Daytona. And even the Submariners at the time were, I would say, still possible to get, even though then the story with my dad, yeah, for whom I ordered the Submariner in Dubai, and till today it hasn't arrived. So, and I don't think they will ever, or I know for sure they will not deliver this watch. Yeah, only if the market should completely turn around. So yeah, difficult to say how I approached the ideas. In the beginning, I said I bought display watches basically, so it would be as if you would nowadays walk into to buy a Datejust. Yeah, but then over time, I mean, when I wanted to get the hotter pieces and got more into Rolex, and of course, then you enjoy the hunting and you want to get the really hard pieces. Yeah, I mean, I started this Pepsi video series, yeah, where I basically documented my whole journey, what I tried, and I went to all stores in Dubai, told them, hey, look, guys, I bought 4 watches from you. Is there any chance that I can get a Pepsi? And I was wearing different watches. I tried different stories. Nothing worked out. So I think it's really different from AD to AD. And in Dubai, all Rolex stores are connected and belong to one organization. So they have strict rules from the headquarter, what they can do and what they can't do. And I think basically, yeah, you still need to be polite with the salespeople over here, but they don't have a big influence on it. Yeah, it's like more like a numbers game, what the headquarter checks, and yeah, you do spend more, you go up the loyalty ladder in their ranking, and then you get the watches. And you need to qualify them even from a certain amount of net sales you do with them, that you are added to some wish list pieces. Yeah.
Right.
But in I think so. I think the chance is a lot better outside of Dubai to get one of those watches, as especially those maybe smaller chains of Rolex stores with maximum 2 or 3 stores together. Yeah, they are not yet like on this level that they only go by the numbers. Yeah, which also doesn't make complete sense, I would say. Yeah, I mean, I'm also working in an business position where we need to make net sales and so on, but I mean, you cannot judge by that, is it a good customer or not, if you only go by the numbers. As many of them, and I know it for sure, are just flippers that are getting watches. And yeah, of course, they need to take care of it, that the ideas here are not catching them, but they have their way somehow. And yeah, so these smaller stores, I think, what probably attracted the store that sold me the Pepsi. Like, I could imagine he would not sell to anyone else right away a Pepsi, but he probably saw from my videos the amount I spent already on other pieces, how my passion is for the Rolex watches. And I mean, I can tell you, not everyone would probably fly also around the world, yeah, buy a
Right.
$2,000, $3,000 flight ticket, pay for the hotel, then all the Ubers. And I mean, I actually stayed with a friend there nearly a week in the city. So it came really close to the gray market price at the time. Yeah, if you think about
Right.
a year back, the Pepsi was trading maybe $5, $6, $7,000 over retail or so. And yeah, that was pretty much the amount that I spent on the trip. So I think the AD then saw like my passion for Rolex, then that I'm definitely not a flipper, as I have all the pieces that I bought still in my collection. And by the YouTube channel, of course, he has some kind of guarantee that I'm not flipping the watches. And yeah, the long-term business I think he had in mind, as he knows I'm not buying only one piece. There will follow probably a lot of them. So yeah, and how did I approach him? I was just honest, and he knew about my story. Yeah.
Interesting. We're going to get to it. And we got Toyota Mo say, good morning. Thank you so much for joining. Really appreciate that. We got Watches24 joining us. Always welcome to the stream. Thank you so much. We got Watches63. Hello from Bangor, North Ireland. Thank you so much for joining. Gentlemen's Hangout saying, I beg, bribe, and threaten the AD. That's right, guys. That's not what you should be doing. Toyota Mo says, no such thing as a wait list. And Brian BK says, aren't all lists wait lists in a sense? So that's an interesting question, right? So there's obviously no such thing as a wait list. Oh, here, let me get this question. DubaiExpat, what is your opinion of Grand Seiko? This is a good question.
I think Grand Seiko is amazing. I love the spring drive movement. Yeah, how basically super smooth, the seconds hand glides around the dial, looks fantastic. The build quality is amazing. yeah, what they lack for me, I don't like their bracelets so much from a design point of view, but overall amazing watches, I would say.
Nice. We got Brian BK with $5 super chat. Thank you so much. Says I only buy all these watches so my AD gives me courtside seats for US Open tennis finals each year. I highly doubt that, Brian. But thank you so much for the kind contribution. He's got an amazing collection himself. He's got a Pepsi also, Submariner. He's got the John Mayer Daytona yellow gold with the green dial. He just recently also bought the green OP, which I think is, to me, the really underrated of the newest Oyster Perpetuals. But I mean, listen, I think there's also a point to be made, right? That, let's be honest, you're not going to get in and ask for a Submariner and get it in a realistic time frame, right? Or you probably won't get it at all because they get hundreds of requests a week about a Rolex Submariner, right? And so I guess that brings me to the next point is, why should somebody new getting into the hobby not just buy off the gray market, right? I mean, for me personally, I bought my Submariner off the gray market. I said, you know what, forget these wait lists. I'm never going to get one. And, I'm not one to wait on things. I'm a Gen Y. We have a very short attention span. We like things right away. We have we like instant gratification. And I think that's one thing that Rolex definitely should look to improve, because at the end of the day, they are selling a luxury product. And even though demand is high now, you'll never know what could happen in the future, right? And with luxury products, I think people expect a luxury service, and we get far from one with Rolex specifically, right?
Yeah, I mean, this depends a lot on the store where you buy. Yeah, so you can check out the experience videos when I bought the Pepsi or the Kermit, the Bad Girl. Man, this store is absolutely fantastic. They treat you like a king. They serve you champagne, chocolate. They always have a nice gift for you. And I know also other stores in Germany, they treat you like that. There's some good ones in Switzerland. Yeah, it's of course just not every store is like that. As I said, I also have been to stores, or I called stores. Yeah, I called like these 100 stores when I wanted to get the Pepsi. Sometimes I feel like maybe Rolex should do some undercover calls at some of the stores, because you cannot behave with someone who's planning to buy a luxury product, and like basically laugh him right into the face on the phone and tell him, forget about it. Or recently I had an experience in one of the Rolex stores where I was also getting a bit mad at the guy. I asked him for one of the hot models, and he said, go to the next supermarket, you can find it there. So he was referring to the soft drink. And this was the first sentence he told me, like from a Rolex store, where you were like, wow, like, what is this guy? Is he like some kind of god, or like,
right?
You can speak like that to me? Yeah, so there's a wide span, let's say, between the good and the bad stores.
Okay, I mean that's definitely a fair point. I just wanted to bring this up from SB asking, can the Dubai expat tell us about watch spotting in Dubai? Are there a lot of people wearing great pieces? In the real world, it's fairly rare to see a Patek or Longa in North America.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, especially Rolex, you see a lot of them. I mean, I usually do watch spotting maybe if I go to a restaurant, and we have a lot of towers, you can imagine, over here. And if you're in the elevator, it sometimes may take you 2-3 minutes until you're at the rooftop bar or so. So during that time, I always check the wrists, and usually you see, from Patek over Rolex, AP, all those banger watches, and especially a lot of full gold pieces, which like $50,000-$60,000, something. Yeah.
Right, and that's very cool to see, because you see a lot of more passionate people about watches. I mean, I met up with somebody a couple of days ago, right? But I mean, apart from him and a few other Montrealers that I've come to know, nobody here is really into watches. And I mean, the amount of people that there are, like, it's so rare to see somebody having a kind of luxury watch in the wild. It's very rare. So I think it's very cool to see.
I would consider Dubai is definitely one of the watch hotspots in the world. I mean, as said, like it's crazy what's going on here. And then I created my own watch club basically, with a lot of followers from my YouTube channel that asked me, can we meet? Can we have coffee together? And it just got too much that I started this watch club, and now we're more than 100 members already, and brands are starting to invite us, and it's unbelievable. Definitely one of the major watch cities, I would say, Dubai, and the spending power here is incredible, incredible.
Right. We got Ethan saying, Dubai Expat, I'm going to Dubai in October. I have an apartment in JLT. Let's have a watch meetup. Do you guys have any red bars in Dubai and stuff like that?
We have what?
Red bar. Sorry, that's the kind of American version of a watch meetup where people get together and kind of show off their
No,
watches.
that's what I basically created. Yeah. So with our watch club, we do every 2 months a get together, and we rotate the locations and usually check for very nice places in the posh hotels. But we go also sometimes to maybe a very good local Mexican restaurant. So it, yeah, really depends. But we do every 2 months a get together. And besides that, I mean, the people in the group are connecting to each other. So they also hang out together, of course. And then, yeah, what do? We talk watches, of course.
Right. We got Ryan Loken saying pride opinion, pride opinion, pride opinion. Thank you. I appreciate that. And we got No BS saying the Dubai expat is God tier. Nice. Thank you so much. So
Thank you.
I appreciate that. I wanted to ask you something, and it relates more so to the vintage watch world, right? You're not somebody who owns vintage personally. Is it ever
No.
something that will interest you or that you are going to get into?
I think not for now, actually. So besides that, I feel like I don't have the knowledge maybe to buy a vintage watch right now. But I mean, yeah, probably you can pay for that. Yeah, if you have a store that you can trust to, yeah, you pay a bit extra and they do the work for you. But besides that, I don't know. I was always a guy more attracted to the stuff that is launched in my generation. As I said in the last stream, my dad always tried to convince me as a kid to buy the motorcycle he loved as a kid, and I wasn't happy with that already. And I think I kept that opinion or mindset a bit. Yeah, that yeah. I rather buy the stuff that's launched during my lifetime and not sticking so much to the old things.
Right. I mean, one thing that's interesting, right, is if you follow my channel at all, we've been having Nico Leonard from Pride and Pinion on the stream, right? And he's a big fan of vintage watches specifically, right? And he says, you know, it's a market, at least in the community here, that's very underappreciated, at least the YouTube community also, because it tells a story, right? It's a story about how we got to the watches the modern watches that we wear today. And listen, I appreciate that, but I think there's also an aspect to it.
I mean, look, Marco, I said I like to do my own stories with my watches. Yeah, I am not planning to sell any of those pieces.
Right.
And yeah,
Well,
I'm
you
not
never
sure.
know.
I
Things
mean,
change, right? Things change.
yeah, I don't think I will ever sell the Pepsi or the Explorer
No,
or the
those are gonna
Hermit.
stay.
Yeah.
Right.
And I mean, many people that have these kind of opinions, you need watches with stories and so on. There are also many people who flip their watches all the time. So maybe that's why they need to buy a vintage piece. I don't know.
Right. No, well, I think, listen, it takes time as a collector to get accustomed to the vintage watch world, right? It's not something that you just dive into, right? To me, you have to have a certain amount of, I don't know, I guess you have to have a certain collection of modern watches to be able to dive into the vintage watch world, at least from my perception, because a lot of people, you know, think that the vintage watch world is very intimidating. There's a lot that can go wrong. They're a little bit more delicate than modern watches, and those are all kind of fair criticisms for sure. Now, we do have a great question from No BS saying, how often should you follow with the AD on the status without annoying them?
So I actually nearly never follow up on the status of my watches with the AD where I buy most of the pieces, but we chat nearly every day about cars, about food, about I even chatted with him about my girlfriend. So I don't know. So we are all the time in contact, but I'm not like pushing him, hey, I mean I would feel a bit stupid, yeah, if hey, what about my Pepsi? I mean, he knows the pieces that I want and he knows when it's the right time, yeah, to tell me. So I don't think it would change anything if I would annoy him with that. Maybe it would even make it more difficult to get them.
We got Toyota Mo with a $5 super chat. Thank you so much. That's my main man, Toyota Mo, saying just making sure the super chat button is working. Super chat, you cheap, nasty, vicious punters. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. And another question I had, moving away from Rolex kind of quickly, is obviously you do have that Zenith Defy, the skeleton, right, in your collection.
Yes.
And Zenith is a brand that I feel has really been doing a lot of great things, especially with their new El Primero releases, right? I don't know if you saw the A386, the reverse pendant dial. Right. So they've been doing a lot of great stuff. And I think they're definitely a brand that is up and coming. Do you feel themselves, Zenith, or any other brands you feel are going to kind of pique the interest of a lot of collectors in the future?
Yeah, I mean, I think Zenith is already one of the beloved brands of collectors, at least here in Dubai, and what I get from my mates. They all love Zenith. Zenith is selling a good amount of watches to them, I can say, and it's just, I mean, you have to consider also how many watches is Zenith producing, maybe 8,000 a year or something like that.
Yes.
So there's not just such a mass, going to the market. And they are definitely a collector's brand, but not such a hype and investor's brand, yeah, for sure. So yeah, I'm not sure if they are going to move out of that position or not. No idea. Besides that, a brand that could really become as hot as Rolex. I think Cartier is on a very good way with their Santos. It's already very tough to get that one in Dubai if you want the blue dial or so. I think they're also trading over retail, and yeah, nearly everyone loves Cartier, of course. It's a fantastic brand behind it, a lot of power. They will take good care about the image and so on. So yeah, I would say the demand to supply ratio could make Cartier become a lot hotter than it at least here is already. So I think that could be maybe one of the best guesses for me for a good brand for the future.
Right. I think there's a lot of brands that are coming out with a lot of great watches. I think Cartier is definitely one of them. They kind of nailed it with this latest Santos. I think they really got a product that is really, really spectacular. And I think others are brands like Zenith, brands like Breitling. And I think you even see with Omega, right? Omega was kind of doing some, shady stuff. Let's be honest. Every watch was a limited edition or, in some form or fashion. And they kind of stopped that now, which I really appreciate, right? It's much better than it was, at least in years past, because, it's hard to follow Omega when every second watch is a limited edition production watch, right? Yeah. So I think all those brands, those four brands, really have some good potential to move a little bit more up market and are definitely, brands that are coming out with a lot of great watches. And I think they all kind of share a common theme, which I do want to get into. I just want to get to a couple of viewers' chats. We got Domenico Galuso saying, thanks for a great Saturday morning start to my day. Nice to just sit around and listen to good conversation. It's fun and comfortable environment for all watch collectors of all levels. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Scott B chiming in saying, I do some vintage Rolex stuff, and it's really hard if you don't have a trusted, knowledgeable person for advice and confirmation, a proper dial, hands, etc., and authentication. Yeah, very fair. Very, very fair. We got, here we go. We got Vestunt1 saying, great show, Marco. You're Greek from Laval. Oh, thank you so much. He's a fellow Quebecer. So he's also from Quebec, which is where I'm from. Great to see we have a budding Quebec population watching my stream. Merci beaucoup. It's a real honor to have you guys. We got No BS saying thanks to TheDubaiExpat. And No BS with a $3 super chat. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. But the question I wanted to get into, Expat, is you see a lot of watch brands. Zenith is one of them. Cartier is one of them. Omega is one of them that are starting to do watches that are kind of vintage inspired, right? So vintage inspired, but I guess with the modern twist. And I'd love to get your feedback. What do you think about those kind of vintage inspired watches from these brands?
Ooh, never thought about that. I mean, some of them I like them, like the Breitling 806 re-edition. I think fantastic piece that they launched there. Basically, the best watch of the whole lineup they currently have.
Yeah.
But again, it feels a bit expensive. I nearly bought one recently over here, but then there was a dent already in the case, and from the Breitling boutique, where I was a bit disappointed and then said no thanks, but keep it. But besides that, I mean, it really depends on the piece. Yeah, it can look good, it can look bad. I mean, I would say neutral, my opinion maybe about it. It really, as said, depends on the piece itself, if it looks good or not. But I mean, most of the time, and I think they look good. I like the design language they had earlier because I'm also a fan of thin watches. And usually at the days back, they were quite thin, most of the watches. So yeah, but as said, in general, depends on the piece. Yeah, it can look good, it can look bad.
That's great perspective. Yeah, I mean, listen, I think the 806 is a great one. I think a lot of stuff that Omega is doing, like the 321, is also fantastic. But I'm liking this vintage inspired kind of collection from a lot of brands. But one thing you don't see it from is Rolex in particular, which is kind of interesting, right? But again, it kind of comes back to that point where we made they have like a timeless design that's, I mean, really flawless, right? There's no need to kind of change it.
Yeah, and I mean, I am also not sure if it would fit so well to the strategy or vision that Rolex has, that they, I assume, want to always move forward and also innovate their pieces. So I don't think a vintage inspired watch would fit that well then into the portfolio.
Right. We got a great question from CB saying, "What's your favorite Rolex?" The Pepsi, right? Yeah, he got it on the wrist, right?
No question about that. Pepsi is by far the best.
We got Bahrain Watch Collector with a $20 super chat saying the Dubai expat looks like a sober Tim. Get Tim on, please, to compare. Of course, I'm going to drop the link. I did want to do just a brief interview just with me and you, kind of get to know who you are as a collector, people to get to know you a little bit more. But what we usually do is have a bit of a panel on, right? So people could come on, ask you questions. So I do want to open up the floor to questions. Bahrain Watch Collector, thank you so much. Another extremely kind contributor who helped me get to London, guys. I'm going to the London Watch Show. I can't wait.
You should come to Dubai. I mean, it's not far, yeah, Bahrain. Maybe 2 hours flight or so.
Right. Yeah, I mean, Bahrain's another amazing collector. He's got a real, an amazing, extensive collection. Not just Rolex, other brands as well, but mostly Rolex and really nice stuff. We got the Timepiece Fund joining in with a $2 super chat. He says, thoughts on Glashütte Panamatic Lunar with a blue dial? Let me pull it up for you. Oh. Now, you are German, right, if I'm not mistaken?
Yeah, yes.
So, obviously, I'm sure that you have a kind of affinity for German brands. I guess, let me ask you first, what do you think about Glashütte and this model right here in particular?
I think it's Glashütte Original, and I actually don't like the brand that much. I believe the quality, the build, everything is amazing and amazing value for money and so on. Just the design language doesn't speak so much to me, as yeah, they are very dressy pieces usually. Right. Then yeah, I don't know, these very romantic lettering and so on. It's just not my style. So right. I'm not that big into the design, but in general, I love the German brands. Yeah, let's say if we start from the bottom, Zinn 104, amazing piece. I'm not sure if it can get better value for money than these Zinn watches. Right. They are really cool, lots of innovation inside with their submarine steel and so on that they use. So absolutely fantastic brand. Definitely will buy one of those sooner or later for my, let's say, entry-level watch collection. Then moving up one tier, Nomos, again, fantastic brand, lots of innovation, beautiful in-house movements. I think their watches are somewhere like usually in the $2,000 to $3,000 range. And I mean, I don't think there's any better piece with an in-house movement and such a well-built and finishing quality as Nomos offers. So fantastic, really fantastic watches. So we were actually thinking if we should make like a watch for our club, like a members edition, that Nomos would be a fantastic brand to do that, as you get so much for your money. They are very open to work with watch clubs together and so on. So yeah, and I said, just have a look at the movements for that price range. and in-house, innovative, fantastic. And then, of course, let's skip the tier level of Glashütte Original. So we would go right away to Lange. And yeah, Lange and Söhne is, of course, one of my favorite brands of all time. It's just the problem for now is that I'm not that into dress watches. And yeah, they're basically their only piece, which is for me also one of the greatest watches that you can buy currently, or you can't buy from the official stores,
Right.
but in theory you could. So yeah, Lange und Söhne is of course absolutely amazing. I mean, I said it in the last stream. For me, they are making even better watches than Patek does. So yeah,
I mean,
so
that's
far my feedback to German brands.
that's fair.
You want to know my feeling on this? Oh, maybe my microphone's not working.
No, you're all good. We can hear you, Tim. Welcome to the show, Tim Wright. Tim, I just want to introduce you to the Dubai Expat. Just before, Tim, I just want to answer this question.
Yes.
So this watch right here, I do like it. I think it's kind of a ripoff a little bit of Lange 1, right? Let's be honest with one another. The one thing I have a problem with is for a dress watch, it's actually very thick, right? It's really thick watch. Like I think it's like 12 or closing in on 13 millimeters. So it actually has a hard time like falling under a dress sleeve, which for a dress watch doesn't really make sense. Listen, it's a beautifully finished watch, no question about it. But I think that there are better watches out there to be had, in my opinion. Just my opinion. And again, it's not to say the finishing isn't spectacular. I mean, you get 2 hand engraved balance cocks, beautiful finish on the movement and the rotors. Obviously, the winding mass itself is in gold. But yeah, again, the thickness alone to me is just a little bit prohibitive from where. But welcome to the show, Tim. Thanks for joining.
Hey, what's up, guys? The Glashütte is
Glashütte.
Glashütte Original. It always gives me this vibe that it has the same relationship that Tudor has to Rolex. It's the cheap Lange. It's like budget Lange. There's something is off about it, and like it's good, right? Like Tudor, it's great watch. Same thing here. It's great. It's just not. It's just a little bit. It's lacking just oomph, that perfection that you can see in Lange. Like the date is just a little bit too small. The moon is a little bit too small. Whereas when you look at Lange, everything's just perfect. It just works out. So I don't know. I like it, but if you're trying to build some kind of a mega collection, I would look for other pieces that they're specialized in. What's going on, Watch Cardinal?
Tim, I'm wondering, do you have a brother that you didn't know about? You and the Dubai Expat look seriously familiar.
Hold on, let me just put my hair down, and you
right. Since you got the haircut, it's not as similar.
No, right. Wait, I just have to do it. I'll do it the other way. The other way. There we go.
The other way, Tim. The other way.
The other way. Wait, it's reversed.
This way. There you go. Okay. No, on your left side, on your right side.
But which one is my right? Okay. Oh, okay.
You're right.
I got it. Okay, here we go.
There we go. We got Watches 24 with a $5. Thank you so much. It says Marco, review DEP's micro decompression timer 1961 limited edition. Let me bring it up.
Hello, Dubai Expat. And dude, we both have the love for the 35.4 millimeter Explorer 1.
Yeah.
That's incredible. You know how there are twins? They get separated at birth, and then they both end up being firefighters. They have the same wife, like that look exactly the same. Just
yeah.
What happened?
So to answer Watches 24's question, I think you own this one, right, Expat? So
yes,
listen, I'll say this. Mito is a watch brand that is a good, listen, I'll pull no punches. I'm going to give you my honest feedback, right? I think it's a good entry-level watch. You know what I mean? If you're starting out in a watch collection, I think Mito is a good brand. I think Tissot is a good brand. Hamilton. I think Zinn is a good brand as well. Oris. So a lot of brand. Tag Heuer maybe is a little bit more expensive, but I think it's also a good kind of starting point. But Mito is kind of more at the lower end price range. I would say more with Hamilton, Tissot, and those kind of players. Again, I think it's a great starting watch, a great starting point in a collection, but I'll never tell you, it's comparable to a Rolex. I think everybody would agree to that, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I mean, I'm not that attracted by most of the Mido portfolio, but as you said, I think the value for money is very, very good with the brand. I mean, lots of knowledge with the Swatch Group in the back. But yeah, this piece is of course super, super special. So when I saw the press release of it, which I think was 2 months or so prior to the launch, I went right away to the boutique and told them, hey, I want this piece. Whatever it takes, please reserve one for me. And luckily it worked out and I got one. So yeah.
Right. I just want to welcome young Roman Sharf. Hello, Birmingham. How are you, man?
Why are we up so early, guys? What is
I know
going
it's an
on?
early. It's because of the time difference, right? I mean, it is 8 o'clock for expat. That's why. So again, thank you so much for joining.
What's up,
9
Dubai
o'clock.
Expat? I like your channel, man. I've seen some of your videos.
Thank you very much.
We got a great point from Bahrain Watch Collector. It says Ratings Gold, Tim and Dubai Expat have to come on Archie stream together. I need to see Archie's reaction. Well, Expat did come on one stream one time. It was a bit of a disaster, a big train wreck. I don't know if he wants to do that again.
Yeah, it was a funny night. Yeah, I came home from I think a party or so and was a bit drunk, and I don't even remember what were the topics.
There was no topics. It was time
some raging about.
It was you're right. Yes, it was right in the midst of the drama, right? The situation. Let's call it the situation.
And then what I found a bit annoying is actually you could never really have a conversation on Archie's channel because super chat. So yeah, you're not getting really into a watch talk flow there.
Right. Well, I guess I got a couple new panel members, Tim, Birmingham. If you guys have any questions, please fire away.
You don't happen to you've never owned the Mido Ocean Star, have you, Expat?
No.
Okay.
I mean, I'm not too sure, but the decompression timer 1960 isn't that from the Ocean Star collection, just the vintage Ocean Star also? But the normal one, or I don't own, no.
So I don't know if Marco can pull it up. It's possibly like conceptually.
Yeah,
it might be like my perfect watch. Not exactly that one. They'd have to like rework it a little bit. It's a little too big by the specs, but in 10 years, Marco, I'm telling you.
I don't know about all that. We got a super chat from the Timepiece Fund, $2 saying Nomos Zurich World Time is fine, but Glashütte isn't. No, I think this is great, but there are also different price points. I mean, this sells for what, $6,100, right? And you can get these for what, probably about 3,000-4,000 on the secondary market, right, Tim? Somewhere around there. And Glashütte is like close to 10,000. I mean, it's a big price range gap.
Huge gap. I mean, for 10,000, you're in like really good watch territory. Right. And then if you want that perfection, world time perfection, you do have to go higher. And the Glashütte, you get something very like this Nomos. It's not perfect. There's so many things that are like nitpicky about it, and that's why the price is low. And like, why would you pay 10? Like, I would rather go with the Nomos. If you're not gonna get perfection, go with the Nomos. Save $8,000. Right? It's a freaking amazing. Look at that movement.
Yeah,
it's right on par.
For the price.
That looks like Glashütte. Put them side by side. You will see that the rotor and the finishing on the back looks very similar. So
it's actually it is very similar, Tim. The movement finishing on Nomos is second to none.
And Tim, I didn't.
It's just such a weird territory.
I was plugging in my my sound as you were just covering it. Were you saying that Nomos to Glashütte was the equivalent of Tudor and Rolex? Is that the point you were making for? Yeah.
Yep. There's just like Rolex, it's the perfect steel sports. Just everything is perfected. Same thing with Lange. Everything is perfect. Like the big date, like Lange 1, right? Everything is perfect. The date is as big as it can be for a watch. The moon is as big as it can be. Like, just everything perfectly fits together. Whereas when you look at the Glashütte kind of take on the Lange 1, you can see the date is smaller. The moon is smaller. Everything is just not.
The placement is weird also, because the Lange 1 has that golden ratio, right? It forms that triangle. So
it's hard to do.
Right. And the Glashütte panel inverse, there's something off with the design.
They're cutting costs. I mean, because like you do need so much technical knowledge in order to make that kind of movement a reality. And Glashütte, it does look like they're working with because with the Lange, it's all in house. Everything is in house. But with the Glashütte, it's like they're taking some of these parts that are not in house.
Hold on, Tim.
And they're working. Yeah,
that's not true. That's not true.
No. But like there is some stuff that they're kind of like they're trying to make. It's almost like you look at the chronograph, right? Like integrated chronograph. It looks perfect. But then the modular chronograph, there's something is always off. Like thing is a little bit off center, and the chronograph pushes a little bit.
It's the way it looks on the dial, right? You're not talking about the movement itself.
Yeah. Okay. No. That's what I'm just saying.
Yeah.
So, speaking of getting with your second choice, I just picked this one up from.
Oh my God, Birminghard! What the hell?
Birminghard's on the spending spree.
Yeah, I am.
Oh, okay. It arrived
from
Gentlemen.
JJ over at Gentleman's Hangout.
Nice. You know, I wore that watch.
You did?
You're welcome. Yes, I did.
Yeah, it smells like Tim Wright a little bit.
Yeah.
But actually, I think it's an interesting conversation to have. Just coming back to the Glashütte, I just want to wrap this topic up, and then I do want to talk about your newest purchase, right? And because I want to get the Dubai expats feedback on this. I talk about Glashütte, IWC, also JLC, and kind of horological no man's land, right? Where they're not ultra luxury, but they're a little bit above, I would say, Rolex, right? From a finishing perspective and all that stuff.
Yeah, definitely.
So it's kind of hard for a lot of people to get into because they're not Rolex, right? They're a little bit, there's some that are below most Rolex, some are a little bit above, but they're mostly known for the stuff that's above the Rolex prices. And they're not Patek Philippe, they're not Lange, they're not Vacheron, they're not AP, right?
They're not JLC.
Right. But man, Birminghard, spending spree, what is going on? What is going on?
No, but like we were saying, right? Like Tudor, it's like it's almost there, right? Like it's a little bit. She's a little bit thick, right? Than a Rolex counterpart, so it wears a little bit heavier. And then it's the little things like the clasp, and they do a really good job on the clasp, right?
Right.
But this little integrated shield has this little I don't know if I'd call it the shield piece on it doesn't have any type of a hinge versus on the Rolex, right? Like Rolex Submariner, like it's just the fine little points, right? Like this little hook and beak system. It's just next level, and Tudor's just not quite there, right?
Yeah, just a little bit off.
But it's kind of like the Tudor stuff. It's like for me, like it is not perfect, but it's like that good enough, right?
Yes.
Like I don't know if I'm settling, but
yeah. But you have Rolex.
You can be
right,
totally
but he
happy
has
with it too.
right. He has
Yeah.
Rolex.
It's
but
like
very hard. We got to get you more Rolex. You got to stop with this Tudor because you know what I mean. Like you got the Tudors, the Omegas filled out. Now we got to just stick to Rolex. You know what I mean? Stick to Rolex.
Dude, I'm like going back. I'm going backwards in like
right. I know. I've never seen this
because Rolex is just the prices on it on like the used market. They're just ridiculous.
Yeah. Right. We got JB with the €5.50. Thank you so much. Saying what's up, fellas, guys. JB, another extremely kind contributor, helping me get to London, guys. The London Watch Show. We're gonna be in the London Watch Show, and it's thanks in part to JB. So thank you again. Always an extremely kind contributor. Jason's a great guy.
Is he making a trip up from Portugal to join you guys?
I don't think so. But I know Nico is going to go out to see him, if I'm not mistaken, next time he's in Portugal, or at least that's what he said. So thank you again for the super chat. Really greatly appreciated. We got the Timepiece Fund with a $2 saying, for Birminghard, check your email, Marco. Look at that. Well, that's not the exact same one as you have, right? This is the Date 8 version.
I think that one looks like the 41. I end up getting the 38.
Right. It's a little bit different, but very nice, very cool. Yeah. Listen, not my personal taste. I think it's a little
it's bargain.
It's a bit more of a gentleman style, you know what I mean? Like a gentleman.
How they make it so cheap? It doesn't make any sense. You look at this watch and it's priced below Black Bay.
All right.
Yeah.
What do you think about this right here?
But this one, because they're using modified EDA movements, and so that's where you're cutting out an extra $1,500 by not going in house. But at the same time, I mean, they're able to keep it in a really tight package.
Right.
And integrated lugs just wear so comfortably. So congrats.
Jeez.
Just want to say hello to Woody Jack saying Watch Cardinal and crew. Hi guys, how are we today? Caliber YQG asking Marco, do you ever stop streaming? No, we don't. We got to keep streaming 12 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Streaming is life.
Exactly.
Life is streaming.
We got Toyota with a $5 super chat saying next purchase for Birmingham has to be an LV watch box. Congratulations, Birmingham.
Thanks, man.
Woo!
I don't know. I'm always since you guys are all like, since Toyota Mo got his LV, I keep looking on the used marketplace on like Facebook, or just have these settings so that it's hey, if something comes up, I can get one even a Go-Yard or something like that used, maybe, but that's a lot of money. That's the cost of a Rolex to get a watch box.
Yeah.
Do you have a box, expat? I'm trying to remember if I've seen it.
Yeah, but it's a no-name box from Amazon. Nothing special.
Yeah. And what do you think about these LV boxes? They're about $7,000 US.
Yeah, they are amazing. I mean, I checked out the box once and I love it. I don't like the watch roll. That's actually quite shitty from LV, but the box itself is amazing. I mean, I'm not sure my collection is, I think, too big already for the box, so I would need two.
You can always downsize, sell off a couple of Rolex now. And
Yeah.
they'll never find out.
I don't want to sell. I don't want to sell watches for a box.
No, our good friend of the channel, Carson Chrono, their LV's making a 36 watch slot box.
Damn.
But that's a custom piece, right? That's
I know.
a custom piece.
I think it's out of my range.
But yeah, expat, let's give Toyota Mo a bit of value for money. You see his collection here. He's got the Yachtmaster, the Pepsi, the Surmit. That's the 50th anniversary Redline Sea Dweller, the Tiffany OP, and the Datejust with, of course, that Wimbledon dial. What do you think you should go for next? What do you think you should go for next?
Obvious Daytona. Maybe at a Speedy. Maybe something off the line. I don't know, like a Zenith or anything which is not Omega or Rolex.
Interesting. So here's the thing, right? I know he's on the wait list, right, for the new meteorite dial in white gold on Oysterflex, the Space Panda, as we like to call it, the Space Panda. I think that would be a great addition to the collection. But let me ask your perspective on that, because you did say maybe you should go away from Rolex. And why do you feel that way? You think is there anything wrong with an all Rolex collection?
No, I think it's just more interesting to see, besides always the standard hot models. Yeah, I mean, we all want them, but a bit more diversified collection with a few other brands inside. I usually enjoy those or discussing those more than if it's only the pure Rolex collection. So, and I think it also brings you some joy if you have something besides Rolex, that you can wear.
Right. I just want to remind everybody, guys, we got 140 people watching. Please be sure to upvote, guys. We're at 60 upvotes only, guys. We got to get to 100 at least. This way it'll get, kind of put on the YouTube algorithm. But thank you again, Toyota Mo, for the super chat. And I just want to answer this one more. Oh, go ahead, Berb.
I was going to say, for Toyota Mo, I would hope that what's next on my list would actually be that Pepsi on Jubilee. But the 80's not calling, which is why now I have to settle in the meantime. So,
damn.
So let me ask you. Oh,
maybe I can add one thing to the collection line. I mean, look, imagine. I mean, he has some banger pieces there, but imagine instead of 3 of those Rolex, there would be a VC Overseas and maybe a Moser and C Streamliner. Boom! That collection would be everyone, wow, what a banger collection.
I think his 2 watches that he's getting next, if I'm not mistaken, is that the Space Panda, and then he's getting the Historiques 1942 from Vacheron. So let me pull this up.
Whew. Space Panda. My God.
Let me get this right.
That's amazing.
I believe he wants to get the red version, which is this one right here. So it's a Geneva Seal triple calendar from Vacheron. What do you think about this? I think those are the 2 that he wants to add next, if I'm not mistaken. And that would be really perfect collection, in my opinion. He'll have mostly steel watches, 1 white gold Daytona chronograph, and then a complicated watch from Vacheron, Geneva Seal. I think that's really icing on the cake. But I like also the Moser suggestion. Moser Streamliner is a great watch. I just want to get this super chat right here. DC and LV $2 saying always the classic question: 2 to 3 Tudor or 1 Rolex. I'm pretty clear on. Yeah, I'm pretty clear on that. It's 1 Rolex.
100%.
I don't own any Tudors. I've never owned any Tudors, and I'm sorry to burp, but I just don't see myself going and taking that step backwards. You know what I mean? Like I don't see myself going backwards to Tudor. But that's a personal preference. You know, like Birminghard, you like tool watches, right? And let's be honest, modern Rolex, you can't really use, you know, in the way that you like to use your. You can, but you know, it's a little bit. They're expensive luxury goods. You know, you don't want to just mess around with them. So I guess Tudor and Omega is probably better for that.
As much as I love the the idea of like being like a one watch guy, like I need a watch for every occasion, right? And I'm doing so many different things that I don't know that I would do like 3 Tudors, but I would probably take a collection of 2 or 3 watches over 1 Rolex right now. But I don't know that I would stick with all Tudors. Like I liked like how you and JJ, when you guys were doing your 3-piece collections under 20 grand,
right.
Doing something like, like an Omega Seamaster, for a dive watch. The thing about Tudors, I think it's really tough to do a whole collection just Tudor because of their styling. A lot of it is like that neo vintage and that Black Bay line. So I probably wouldn't go like a Tudor Black Bay GMT and a Black Bay 58. While I like both watches, I think their styling is too similar. I would rather have something a little bit flashy that has like a ceramic bezel on it, gives you a little bit more range.
Right. Yeah, I think I'm with you. Listen, I appreciate Tudor tremendously. Not to downgrade Tudor in any way, right? I think they're a phenomenal watch, right? But for me, it's like hard for me to picture buying because I have the PAM already, right? So for me, the PAM is kind of what your Tudor is for you. You know, it's like that kind of beat around, wear anywhere type of watch. So yeah, that's just my perspective. But listen, that's not to say that Tudor isn't a phenomenal watch, no question about it.
But this answer kind of comes back to, those, what's the saying? Do what I say, not as I do kind of a thing, right? Like a lot of watch collectors are like, nope, just get the Rolex. Like it's so much better. But when they look at like their own life and their own watch collecting journey, it's like, no, you had the, you know what I mean? You got the pizza slice and then you got the, the PAM. And then it's like, okay. And then you upgrade and it's like, man, I wish I wouldn't have like wasted my time on this other stuff because now I got the one that I really love. But it's like, well, but it seems like people kind of always go.
But it's the journey as well, right? I mean, listen, for people who just jump right into, like I have serious doubts as to like if they really appreciate their watches because, I mean, you have to start at the entry level. Like even Tim, right? He might have a Panda and a Pepsi, but he started out with the Tag Heuer, what was it? The Carrera? Right, the twin time Carrera, right? And it just goes to show you, he's like, listen, I enjoyed that for a number of years, right? So to me, you have to start at that entry level. Otherwise, I don't know if you can really develop an affection apart from it just being like a luxury piece and it's like a flex type thing,
And it's so psychological, right? Because if you're saving for a Rolex, right? That means for a little while you got like $4,000 saved up. And when you got $4,000 saved up and you walk into the Rolex AD to see like nothing on the shelves, okay? And then the Tudor Black Bay 58 is just staring you in the face and you try it on and you're like, man, that's a good watch for $4 grand. But I'd rather have the Tudor now or the Rolex never, or you know what I mean? Are you saving up for gray market prices? And so that's where I think that it's hard to say no.
We got Brian BK reminding everybody to upvote. Guys, we're at 80 likes. Please, let's get to 100 likes. It really will help. We got 20 more to go, guys. Please do like the video. Like the stream. It would really, really help. Brian BK saying, heading to the AD now before hitting some more. I'll send any interesting at AD to IGDM. Perfect. No worries. Appreciate that. Oh, look at this. Toyota Mo says, I also have a Snoopy full paid from the boutique as well. Okay, so that's a damn. God damn. We got Chris Clues saying, Marco, and you and Tim are a legend, hardworking, bringing great content. Thank you so much. We got Cars and Corona saying upvoted. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. Thank you for joining us. Caliber YQG saying, sorry, it's not backwards. Go back to Nico's comment about Tudor and Rolex. That's right. Yeah, right. They're distinct, but they're on different levels in like the watch landscape, right? That's my idea. It's not that you're taking a step backward, like from a good watch, you know what I mean? Tudor is still a great watch in its own right. All I'm saying is from a luxury standpoint, right? Tudor is like a step below Rolex, which I think is fair. It's fair to say that.
The only area that Tudor beats Rolex is on the price. That's
right.
That's it.
We got Woody Jag with the 10 pounds. Thank you so much. He says, for the London fund, Nico phoned me today referring to the Rolex Submariner. He is such a gentleman. He's so busy and still found the time to call me personally. Rolex ADs, take note and learn from Pride and Pinion. That's right, guys. Pride and Pinion, prideandpinion.com. Who do I recommend in the Europe, in the UK, in Northern Ireland, and across the Americas? Prideandpinion.com. Pride and Pinion, Pride and Pinion, Pride and Pinion. But Woody, that's great to hear, man. I'm happy for you. I do hope he gets you that Rolex Milgauss at a great price, and do enjoy it. That's a tremendous watch, and it's going to have a great story. You got to get it from the man himself, Nico Leonard. So that's pretty damn cool. So do enjoy it, and thank you again for the super chat. Really, greatly appreciate it. It's going to help me tremendously on the London trip because, boys, I am broke as pokies. Let me tell you guys, I am broke. Whew, that London trip was not cheap. The timepiece one with the $2 saying no love, Longines for retrograde second. Let me pull this up. Hold on 1 second. Oh, this reminds me of a Maurice Lacroix, if I'm being honest with you. It's an interesting watch, not to my taste. A bit too busy. Very busy. Here we go. What do you think, guys?
Oh, yeah. Like the cheaper brands, they really have because the service cost. To me, it's all about the service cost. I understand if it's a really expensive brand, psychologically, that expensive service cost is kind of justifiable. But with the cheaper brands, I would just go simple, just time and date maximum. But hey, it's a cool looking watch, actually. You know what?
It's cool, but listen, it's a bit too. There's too much going on. There's a date, a power reserve, a moon phase. I think there's a day-night indicator at 12 o'clock. There's the power day. Reserve. There's a 24-hour indicator. Like it's too much. There's too much to look at. It's information overload. You know what I mean?
This is a datagraph level complication, right?
Well, I think
everything that datagraph has.
Well, no, I don't think
it's not laid out as well. Is that what you're
datagraph is a chronograph. Maybe the data perpetual without the chronograph.
Okay, all right. Chronograph without chronograph, yeah.
I mean, this has 6 complications on the dial side alone.
Pretty hardcore.
Moon phase, power reserve, day-night indicator, date, the 24-hour time, right? So that's five complications all on the dial. Again, in my opinion, just a little too complicated, too busy. Too busy is really the word for it. Toyomo says the Journey. Grand Seiko was one of my first watches I got. Exactly. And listen, he found out. Listen, he tried it, but he didn't enjoy it. And sometimes that happens. Nefarian saying, I'll be honest, sitting on $8,000 for a Datejust is very tempting. I'm constantly looking at other watches and I've come close. Yeah, I mean, no doubt about it. I think Birmingham, that's a great point, right? That having that, what do you call it? That
it's discipline. It's discipline. Like that's all it is because your emotion is like, you know what I mean? Like
you want something now, right now.
I always like, for like actually teaching my kids, I tell them, and I think it's actually Dave Ramsey saying, but a sign of maturity is the ability to delay pleasure. Like I try to like instill that in my kids. Like you got to be able to like wait and work hard, for the things you really want, and don't take like the easy, the easy out. But it'll be worth it. I mean, if you can wait, it's worth it. But a lot of people can't wait.
Tim S saying, I'm digging the breakfast stream. Thank you so much for joining. We got Alex saying, love the Connor boys. Keep up the great work. Thank you so much. Upvoted, of course. Thank you so much for the like button, guys. Please be sure to smash the like button, guys. We're at 87 likes. 13 more likes to go, and we're on there. So I'm saying, Birmingham, would you get the Panda Tudor? The chronograph, right? I'm assuming.
So if I was trying to do like a 3-piece Tudor collection, I would. I personally, I have a Speedmaster, and the chronograph between like a diver GMT or a chronograph, I actually find myself using the chronograph the least. So I use a GMT function, or specifically a 24-hour dial. I use that function as much as I use a dive timing bezel. So I don't know that I will, just because I don't wear a chronograph a ton. And the Speedmaster kind of functions in that role for me.
Right. I mean, listen, Expat, what do you think about the new Tudor Black Bay chronograph, right? Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I actually like the reverse Panda a lot more than the Panda because of the the indices. I think the bloom-filled white indices on the white dial and the white hands, that doesn't look so nice. So I would definitely personally get the reverse banda, even though I think the other watch is more hyped. And besides that, I would say it's still a bit too thick. And for the money, I would any day buy the Speedmaster Sapphire Sandwich. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah,
they
and
are.
that's-
Go ahead.
It's probably objectively though, it's probably a better movement though, right? So I made that same call, right? That expat, like, yeah, I'd rather have that Sapphire Sandwich. But it's a good movement for what you're getting, right? 70-hour power reserve.
No question at all.
I think it's a good value, right? You're not getting comparable in-house chronograph movements from other manufacturers for cheaper.
No, definitely. And the Tudor chrono is actually hard to get here in Dubai. It's a wishlist piece. You need some history with the boutique that they add you to the wishlist and so on and so on. So no, there's definitely a high demand for it. It's pretty hyped. It's definitely a very good package. It's just that if I would advise someone, I would always advise to get the Speedy first and then go for the Tudor. But I mean, in the end, yes, which design speaks more to you? They are so different, the two watches. Yeah.
But it was, if you think about it, the movement in it, even the new one, it's that it's the Breitling B01, right? And that's their I guess their movement agreement that they had.
Yeah.
If you're comparing it to Breitling prices, it's like, okay.
I mean, Breitling is just way overpriced. Yeah, no question at all.
Yeah.
And if you check Breitling secondhand, I don't know what they're trading, maybe 50-60% of the retail price. They are not that far off of the Tudor. Yeah, so the secondhand market adjusts the Breitling prices quite good, I would say. Correct. While the Tudor is trading, I guess, a bit over retail the chrono now. So yeah.
We got a great question here from Alex saying, what's your opinion on the Squale 1545? I'm poor, LOL. Well, listen, no worries about it. Now, I was just looking at this, and listen, I'm going to be completely honest. I think Squale is, and I mean this with all due respect, Alex, it's absolute garbage, right? It's terrible. This is a straight ripoff of the Rolex Submariner. They didn't try anything. Right. They didn't try anything at all to be kind of ingenious or, make up a design. I think it's overpriced garbage is the best way to put it. Now, what would I recommend instead? I think we got Alex, No Endless Time, joining us. I just want to answer this chat right here. So what would I get instead? Because it does cost about $570 from what I'm seeing. For me, if you want to go get a diver, the best you can get, in my opinion, is this right here. It's the Seiko Patty Turtle with the Pepsi colors, and the turtle case is very, universally recognized and loved. And I think it's very iconic from Seiko themselves. You get a day-date complication. Now, this is the diver I would recommend. But personally, I think the best starter watch or best one watch is this right here from Tissot. It's the Powermatic 80, and this just looks amazing. The finish you get for about $800, I think is really, it's worth spending the extra money on. You get an 80-hour power reserve movement, a date complication. I think this is something you can wear sportier. You can wear kind of in a dressier settings. I mean, it's a perfect starter watch right here.
Yeah, and Tissot is a very nice brand.
Right, Tissot is an excellent brand. I would 100% go with them over Squale. I'm sorry, I just think Squale is absolute. It's garbage. There's no other way to put it. I'm not going to be nice or mince my words. It's just it is what it is.
I'm going to push back a little bit.
Go ahead.
I'm going to push back a little bit in defense of Squale. Let's just, not because I'm a huge supporter of Squale, but, we need some.
I had to pull that up full screen for a second.
Yeah.
So anyways, as we're talking about Squale.
Right.
Look. Yeah, right? Like, look. Is it garbage? I think there are worse brands. Okay, at least Squale, the brand name has some. There is a community that follows Squale. Are they? But they're being misled. It's like Antichrist had the following, right? He had followers as well, right? It doesn't mean that they're on the right path, but it does have a following. There are, however, like brands that do the same thing that Squally does, but they're not even trying. They're just copying straight up, and they don't even have. They're not trying to create anything. So I would say it's bad, but the brand is trying something. And it's not the worst. It's not the worst. It's not the worst. If I had to defend, if I had to push back, right? Let's not circle jerk each other here.
So,
there are worse.
Yeah, we shouldn't do that. So here's the interesting thing. I don't think that it's. So let me finish first.
Ooh.
It's not that it's garbage and that it's
here
not. You're not getting a good value for money, right? But
no, you're not.
What I have a problem with is that, and those of us in
the community
sometimes refer to these as homages.
Yeah.
And I don't think of them as homages. These are just straight up copies, right? And so it's like when all the kids when all the kids on the schoolyard have like some like white, what are the Stan Smith like Adidas, right? And then you're the kid that goes and you get the K-Swiss.
Yeah.
With the extra stripes on it, right?
Yeah.
It's like, it's the cheaper version.
Yes.
It's an okay value for money, but there's no originality in the design,
right?
And
I think that
there's
no. And I think they kind of have to do it because think about it. As a new brand, you start out, people are just not gonna buy it, so they're trying this.
Tim, what you're basically saying
gimmick.
is this, okay?
It's like me ripping off
in the
Archie's
race, you still
refrigerator.
deserve. No, what you're saying is like if you finish last in the race, you still deserve a participation trophy, participation medal. Like. Tim, I'm sorry. I disagree.
No, but there are worse. Dude, there are people who are not even participating in the race and they want the trophy. That's what I'm saying.
You can drop out of the Olympics and still get a participation award now. Right?
And I think they're participating. They want that participation trophy. So that's the difference. It's like we're saying there's garbage and then there's there's toxic garbage. There's toxic garbage, which Squally is, and then there's toxic waste from a nuclear plant level stuff. So I think we should draw that distinction.
Very quickly, I just want to get through these chats. The timepiece phone with $2 saying one more mid-tier Scheider I like. Check your email. So this is the Ballade from Tissot. Again, this is another option. I'm sure you can get this for a reasonable price on the secondary market. And I think you get something that's pretty interesting and cool. Look at the Jubilee style bracelet, the fluted kind of bezel, the day complication. It's got its own distinct design. And listen, I'm going to be honest, right? It does remind me of a Datejust, and it does, pull design cues from a Datejust, but, it's still, I think it's still, somewhat different enough that it's respectable. I do want to bring this up. It says, hi, Chris Clue is saying, hi guys, I have a 6,000 pound budget. What used Rolex would you suggest? I have big hands, so not Tim's watch. So 6,000 pounds, let me convert that to USD. We're looking at about 8,300. Can you even get anything for 8,300 from Rolex? Maybe an Air King, right?
Maybe no. I think a used Sea Dweller, which is a few years old. That used.
Okay.
Like 43 mm Sea Dweller.
Look at this. We got Marco the Don, $2 saying, Squally, are you insulting me? Guys, I do not look like Bobby Hill. Please stop this. What the fuck, guys? Come on. You're supposed to be nice to me, not mean. What is this?
Marco, you could grow up to sell propane and propane accessories instead of watches.
Thank you so much.
Marco,
yes.
I think one of my buddies wrote a comment. Maybe you can pull that up. His name is Salem DXB.
Hold on, let me look for this.
For 6,000 pounds, maybe an oyster quartz from Rolex.
What was the conversion again? 6,000 pounds is
8,000. Hold on. 8,300. Why can't I find it? Sorry, what's his name? Salem
DXB. It was at 9. Your time is different. It was a bit above the timepiece for Super Chat, $2.
Okay, let me look at this. I will try to find it. Go ahead, Birmingham. Oh, here he is. We got. What are your thoughts about the Tudor bronze making the full bracelet out of bronze? Not a fan. Full bronze watch. Again, it's coming back to that. I like my steel watches, my precious metal. I'm a very traditional person when it comes to watch metals. Right. I'm not even one to dabble in titanium. So bronze. Listen, I applaud the effort. It's cool. I like the glide lock clasp. I hope they kind of integrate it in their other watches, but yeah, I'm just not a fan.
Has anyone tried this watch of you? So I think the move of them is cool to bring something new and exciting and so on. I would just be maybe a bit worried how it feels on the wrist and
We got Nico Leonard, and here he is. He's joining the show.
Why are you on here, Nico? Oh, there we go.
Jesus Christ,
That's right. No time. There's no. You can rest when you're dead, Nico. Keep
Right.
doing this 24 hours a day.
Nico's the guy from Germany, yeah?
No, he's from Northern Ireland.
Northern Ireland.
Yes.
Pride and Pinion,
Ja,
Pride and
natürlich.
Pinion, prideandpinion.com.
Geht's?
Sehr gut. Und dir?
Gut. I shall I
Ich
try
frage ein beetje Netherlands.
Nico never sleeps.
I never sleep, mate.
Nico,
I just needed to come on to correct Marco, because the Black Bay bronze is the best thing Tudor has done in a very long time.
Ooh,
I'm not a
oh,
fan.
yeah.
I'm not a fan of alternative. I like my regular steel.
Be open to experimenting, doing new things. That Metas bullshit with that ceramic case, fucking hell, they should throw that in the bin. It's a dive watch you can't even dive with. What the fuck is a tool watch for?
Well, what about the bronze? You can't. I mean, let's be honest. It'll turn your wrist fully green.
I mean, it's fucking class.
Okay. I like the Explorer dial. I wish they did
man,
that.
hipster.
Dive with that watch, no bother. Do you want to dive with that watch? No. Can you see it?
Well, have you seen how they fall apart? They like disintegrate those bronze. Here, I can pull it up for you.
I kind of feel like the Bronze Age ended for a reason.
Right, I'm with you.
I love that they're experimenting with new things. I just love that. Don't like the ceramic though.
I like all the new tech, the developments that they introduced in that watch. The new glide lock, the bracelet, the improvements to the bracelet.
I
think
there's
there's boutique only. Exactly. That is going to be. It's going to go over retail. It's going to be hot watch.
I would love it if they just came out with a GMT in the Black Bay 58 case with a Coke aluminum bezel. That's what we want.
That's next.
That's what
the community
wants.
Not a Coke bezel, right?
How
They're not going to come out with a Coke bezel.
That would be what do you say? The dog's bollocks?
Dog's bollocks, mate.
They came out with a Coke aluminum bezel in a 58 case.
Nico,
GMT.
look at this.
Yeah, this is the old bronze. Yeah, what do you want me to say?
Well,
Oh, this is a week old. See how bad it ages? That's just
like what's the point of owning something like this? You know what I mean? It's just
Wait,
gonna
that's the same one? Hold on. Bring it up again. I missed it. Zoom in.
The old one. It's the old one.
Zoom in.
I mean, look at this patina on the
Wow.
case and the bezel.
It's beautiful. You know what?
so the joke we keep telling about this one, Nico. Have you seen the movie Zoolander?
Yes.
yeah.
It's one of the only movies I actually
The Derelict collection.
I can't remember that.
That looks like the Cars and Chrono. That looks like a watch that Cars and Chrono showed yesterday on the live stream. That the guy was wearing his whole life.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean,
cheese,
that
like wrist cheese.
doesn't look that bad, actually. I mean, I'm not sure
like
what happened with the
it's cool.
bezel, but yeah, the case,
Show me a
if
photo
you
of
see
that
the
new,
age.
bronze. Marco, show me a photo of the new bronze.
Sure. Pull it up. Let's pull it up. There we go. There we go.
Whew.
Let me see. So you see,
like
that
the
looks
dial-
so
I like the
fucking
dial layout.
sexy. That looks
The
so
dial layout's
fucking
good.
sexy.
But here's my problem, right? Is that so Omega did the 9-carat alloy with bronze, right? Nico, I don't know if you saw that Seamaster that they came out with. So it's an alloy that won't tarnish, but you're also not paying the precious metal premium. But I mean, Tudor has claimed like their silver wouldn't tarnish, and it's tarnishing. Their bronze wouldn't tarnish, it's tarnishing. So it's like it's hard for me to really believe these guys who say they're not going to tarnish over time, if all their watches, at least the ones posted on forums.
I think we can like looks wise. I think it's incredible. I think that a watch a brand like Tudor doing these cool things, I think we all need to appreciate that, right? But the tarnish and stuff like that, we can only talk about that in about a year. And the same about the Black Bay 58, because let's be completely honest, the Black Bay GMT had its problems as well. The first batch with the date being stuck, and look at it now. I think it's one of the most valued and most value for money GMTs you can buy, and I would recommend that all day, every day. You know what I mean?
How bad that date wheel, right? Like on forums, like that GMT date wheel issue is just
bad.
like okay, but really though, like how many, like percentage wise, would you say like actually end up experiencing that date wheel?
The first three issue? I had it with all three.
Oh, guys, really? I need to hold on.
Really bad at first. Okay,
I need to pull this up from CB. Give me 1 second. I want to pull up his collection. He's saying he's pissed at Archie because he said he doesn't like people who say like dickheads flexing, right? So he wanted to flex a little bit. You know what I mean? He wanted to show off his second tier box. Let me pull up the image. Hold on. And welcome to the show, CB. Thank you for joining. Hope you're well. CB, obviously an extremely kind contributor to the channel. Hold on 1 second. Here we go. It's going to be tilted, though. That's the only problem. But here we go.
Like I like how Alex keeps switching stunners on us.
Right, I know. I'm seeing. He pulled up this. Here we go.
Woo!
Second tier. Get the fuck.
This is his first 4. And this is his second 4.
Go back. Go up. Go
back, please.
Go up. That's
His
a jumbo
collection.
That's a jumbo, mate. Oh my god. I sold my jumbo and it's breaking my bollocks off.
This is my mind, CB. Look at the platinum. This is a platinum 321. That's a 15202. A longer one. I believe it wasn't. I think it was his father's actually. He was also a watch collector, which is even better. He just bought the 5168G, the grenade, recently from an AD. And then you got the Jorn.
Full road there. Platinum Daytona and the Moonshine.
That's the least impressive. Those 3 are the least impressive in my opinion. He's got a what's it called? A resonance from FP Jorn.
Marco, climb a fucking tree. That is fucking unbelievable.
Right, but the FP Jorn
resonance, mate. The resonance. You need to bow. You need to go on your bare knees right now and thank the resonance for its existence.
Right.
That's 10 times the watch that the long I one is, if not 20 times.
That's pretty damn incredible, man. CB's got one of the craziest collections I've ever seen. Thank you for sharing, man. But we're talking about the Tudor Black Bay Bronze, right? The Tudor Black Bay Bronze, how we should celebrate.
No, we were talking about the resonance.
Oh, the resonance. Well, before I'm talking about,
I'm
right?
joking.
I want to come back to it.
I'm just fucking with you.
How we should applaud them for trying something different. Yeah, sure, we can applaud them, but also at the same time, we can also say that they did a shit job coming out with it, right? There's nothing wrong with saying they did a shit job.
Listen, mate. Buying a full white gold oyster bracelet watch, right? You'll have your first scratch on it within 5 minutes, right? Fact, right? Soft metal, it will look shit. The tarnish is part of the watch as well. Now, if a brand says it doesn't tarnish and it does tarnish, then we have a different story, right? And we have a different conversation. But I think tarnish is well part of the watch. You see what I mean? Does that make sense? What I'm saying? I think it's part of wearing, and it's a part of the story.
Nico, 10 years ago, I bought white gold Daytona, full gold, also with a massive bracelet and a racing dial. And after 1 week, I had my first little scratch, and I was nearly like to I have tears in my eyes, like a little baby, cry like a little baby. And after the second, the third scratch, it was daily. And I had this watch like in 5 years daily. It was my daily record. Yeah.
For me, scratch is a excuse to make up another memory. Say I have made this scratch there. You see what I mean?
Well, scratches and tarnish are very different, right? Scratches.
No, I know, but I mean,
like we got peeping
part
time.
Of the watch.
Right. It's just a mark of the passage of time. But I mean, at the same time, it becomes unwearable, right? It becomes totally unwearable. By the way, we got Woody Jack saying, Nico, great to chat with you today. Thank you for sparing me.
I had nearly an hour conversation with Kevin. What a gentleman he is. It was good. It was good fun.
He gave you a good shout out earlier in the stream about his experience with you.
Oh yeah,
that was good fun. It was good.
I just good customer service.
Yeah, right. I just came back from the shop actually.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nico never stops working, guys. Nico, are we doing a stream after this?
I don't know.
I'm going to wrap this up in about 15 minutes. We're going for 2 hours. And Nico, get your ass ready. Let's go. Set up a pre-show. Set up a 2 o'clock show, 2 p.m. Let's go.
If people want it, only if people want it.
Nico, people will always.
Because if you're not going to do it, I'm going to do it. So.
Only if people want it.
What do you mean? Everybody wants it.
Shall we do some mad stuff?
Let's do some mad stuff. Let's break a Hugh blow.
I want a conversation about the craziest watches this world has ever seen.
Oh, that's easy.
Like the most horrible, but also crazy, but also respected watches.
Okay, so like a Grubel 4C quadruple tourbillon?
No, like a Joker. Like I hate it. But
like the Constant Chiakin Joker one?
Yeah, like
Shaken.
Like a minute repeater where I don't like a minute repeater where two things have intercourse. I actually kind of like that.
Hey, Marco, I don't think Nico should do his stream until you get 3 more likes, though.
Oh, yeah, guys. Come on.
Yeah.
98 likes.
Guys,
Hold on. Yeah, I'm at 98 likes.
We're short the goal.
Guys, you got to get me 2 more likes, please.
All right.
Right. Come on, 2 more likes. Otherwise, we're going to keep going until I get 100.
Support our
Theodemo can get on his 3 or 4 troll accounts. We can push it over the limit.
Marco.
One troll account's not enough.
Marco, listen carefully. We need to figure out a new name for your channel, boy.
What's going on? What's wrong with my name? I like the name.
It's too complicated. It's too.
Watch Cardinal.
I can't even spell it, mate.
What do you mean you can't? It's very simple.
I can't spell it. It's an E or it's an A, it's an A, it's whatever it is. I find it difficult. We need to get you a new name. I can spell the word watch, but then I write Cardinal with a K. It doesn't all make sense, mate.
Elon saying watch Marco, but I don't want to copy Eric. Come on, guys. I wanted to do Caliber Marco, and then Nico fucking
Caliber
hates
1999.
Just to Marco. No. This is not funny. Yeah, it is funny. No, it isn't. Yeah, it is.
Okay,
funny.
go ahead.
No, it's not funny.
Nobody's watching.
I'm still deciding if I think it's funny. I do find it funny, but I'm making anyway. We're having professional people watching this. Otherwise, they think I'm absolutely mad. I am absolutely mad. I think.
How about Marco on time?
No. I don't want to copy Kelly, guys. I don't want to. By the way, guys, great job yesterday. I think Kelly's close to like 500 subscribers already, which is great. She's getting the YouTube pump. 455 subscribers, guys. Please.
You want to hear something funny?
Go ahead.
This is the first time it has ever happened, right? Let me stand up. Oh, let me stand up. So, on one of the streams, I was talking about Lego. Remember? I don't know with who that was, but he's someone at Lego, and I made a comment about that. Guess what arrived at my door today?
Oh my goodness! Here we go.
Uh-oh.
A letter on
One
a
second.
half envelope. A letter on a half envelope, right?
Uh-oh.
And he has these collections of watches, right? And 2 boxes of Lego. It's fucking class.
That's nice.
It's fucking class. But now comes the cool bit, is that when I was very young, I loved Lego, right? So I done a lot with Lego and stuff. But I also, this is all Lego.
Oh, that's sick.
This is a
okay, that's
Porsche,
perfect. There's room on the shelf.
This is my my house. So this is so cool. Someone sent that, and I was like, "Huh?" Like, that was unreal. Like, it was very hard to make out his name. I'll figure it out. His name is
community.
Ian. His name is Ian. I will figure it out because he mentioned that he spoke with Paul Thorpe in the past. So I called Paul Thorpe earlier, and he says, "Give me the details of this gentleman. I wanna call him." So that's unbelievable. That's unbelievable.
But I guess on that note, guys, I'm going to wrap the show up. I want to thank, first and foremost, the Dubai Expat, thank you so much for giving us your time here today. I know it is pretty late now, nearing 10 o'clock, 10 p.m. So thank you so much for sticking around for us. And man, guys, first time ever revealing his face, and he does it on my channel. So that's a big honor. Thank you so much for doing that.
All support to
I think
you.
I found my brother. My God.
1 second. Don't wrap it up yet. I need to go up and get that pre-show up. 1 second.
Okay, yeah, because we're gonna post the link. Yeah, I just want to thank everybody. Thank Tim Wright, of course, my man Tim. Of course, we had Gentlemen's Hangout also watching the stream as well. So thank you so much, Nico. Of course, Pride and Pinion, guys. Check out prideandpinion.com. Prideandpinion.com. Who's the best retailer in the UK, in Northern Ireland, in Europe, and across the Americas?
Say the best. I say that we do.
Nico,
correct.
Don't be modest. Don't be modest. No one loves modesty. Come on, man. You gotta be like, yeah, that's right, motherfuckers. I'm the best there is, the best there was, and the best there ever will be. Da 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 da.
Appreciate it.
It's the one and only Eagle Double G.
There you go. Thank you so much to Alex for joining us. Really greatly appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
And Birmingham, my man.
GMT, huh?
Congratulations on the brand new purchase.
Yeah, thanks again, JJ.
Oh, did you get a new watch? Hey, look,
Wow.
Tudor GMT.
Yeah, this is the one that JJ sent me.
That is. I told you. Like this is interesting, right? Because in the beginning, people loved it and said, "Oh, then the first batch was there's so many problems," and now no one talks about those problems anymore. Mark my words, same will happen.
Yeah. Well, hopefully Tudor has it figured out. I don't know if the newer ones have. This one's like 6 months old, so in really good shape. I'm hoping they're past their problems, but
no, they're past their problems. And listen, you're part of my the inner circle. If there's a problem, I'll solve that for you without anything. So anything in return, don't worry.
The community.
I'll solve that for you.
Part of the community. The community.
Guys,
I want to thank all the viewers. Also, we got Cars and Chrono. Thank you so much. We got CB, the Captain, Peter Richard, the Michael Malloy Show, Nefarian, Snacks Coco, and we got Tab, Yasha V. So many guys joining us today. Louise M's, Salem, who is, I believe it's Expats, right? He says you can always clean the bronze with lemon and baking soda, though. Well, I mean, come on, guys. What are you going to start rubbing solution on your watches? I don't know. It's not ideal, right? But thank you again so much for watching. Nico, you got the link? Are you ready? To set up? We're going to go over to Nico's channel now.
Nearly. I'll do this now. 1 second.
No worries. Take your time.
The worst watches ever.
If you guys have any questions, please feel free to let them know down below, guys.
If I am correct, you can see something on the YouTube channel popping up. If I'm correct, you can see something popping up.
Here we go. Hold on. Yes, sir. Perfect. Let me post the link, guys. Join Nico on the next show. Here we go. Posting the link. Be sure to check it out, guys. Thank you again to all who are watching. The Dubai Expat, thank you so much for joining. It's a pleasure. I hope we do this again sometime soon. Tim, Nico, Alex, as well as Birmingham, thank you as always for joining me, all the viewers in the chat. Guys, please feel free to like, subscribe, tell your friends, and I'll see you guys on Nico's channel. Take care, everybody.
Bye-bye.